So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about the new adventure set that has been announced for Hearthstone called One Night in Karazhan. I stayed up late the other night and lost some sleep, watched the release over Twitch. It was kind of cool. It was whatever. But they announced that it's going to be a 45 card set with 4 wings, released over 4 weeks. Release date is August 11th. There is a, if you buy the whole set within the first week, you get a special card back. And there's a free prologue mission that everybody can do where you get 2 free cards. And those cards are a druid card called Enchanted Raven, which is a 1 mana 2/2 beast. And that's all, that's just vanilla, but I mean, it's pretty powerful. 1 mana 2/2 beast. That's a lot of stats there. So that should help Druid out quite a bit, I think, in their early game, and especially help out Druid in a little bit more in Arena, since these cards will be have a higher offering bonus in Arena for until the next expansion comes out. So, and the other card was a mage card called Fireland's Portal, which is a 7 mana spell that says deal 5 damage, summon a random 5 cost minion. And I was saying some things on Twitter, and one of the things I said is I don't think this card is very good because most 5 cost minions don't have the best stats. I think for cost versus stats, it's one of the worst mana cost areas for minions. Whereas, like, the best, I think, is 8 mana, in terms of quality of minions. But, and that's because they make up for the stats with abilities, battle cries, and things like that. So, that's why I initially said it was bad. Plus, it's 7 mana, it's kind of expensive, kind of slow. But, honestly, I don't know. I thought about it more, and I could maybe see this in a tempo mage deck, actually, because that's a lot of tempo still. I mean, and I think initially, for whatever reason, I was thinking it said, and even though I know it didn't say this, I was thinking it said deal 5 damage to a minion, because it seems like a lot of the spell damage cards that have been coming out from mage more recently are really only targeted towards minions and not anything. So, and this is anything. You can deal 5 damage to your face if you wanted to. So that kind of bumps it up a little bit. It's more versatile that way, right? So, you know, with maybe some Flame Wakers out later in the game, and mixed with some Sorcerer's Apprentice or something like that, you know, it could maybe work. We'll see. I'll test it out for sure. So those are the 2 free cards they announced. Maybe there's possibly more. I don't know. That's what they said. So maybe there's more, maybe there's not, that are free. So anybody can get those 2 cards by playing the prologue mission. And then they released a few other cards, or not released, but announced a few other cards. The first one was a Paladin card called Ivory Knight. It's a 6 mana 4/4 minion that's a rare. And it says, Battle Cry, discover a spell. Restore health to your hero equal to its cost. I don't know. I feel like Paladin has a lot of healing already, and this is putting a minion on board, but... And you're discovering a spell, but for 6 mana, it's kind of slow. I don't know. And it's hard to sort of judge these cards right now because you know, we don't know what the rest of the cards are in the set. We don't know if there's new mechanics. They didn't announce any new mechanics during the release, so but just sort of initial thoughts on this. I don't know about this card. I don't think it'll see that much play. I mean, Paladin already has a lot of healing. That's really good, and this just doesn't seem to me to fit into anything. But again, yeah, I could be wrong, so that's just my initial thoughts on this card. Another card that was announced was a rogue card, a 5 mana 5/6 minion called Ethereal Peddler, which is also a rare. that has Battle Cry. Reduce the cost of cards in your hand from other classes by 2 mana. Now, this is an interesting card for sure. I don't know, at least, you know, knowing what we know now, which is not all the cards in this set, but it seems like a very limited niche sort of card. Like, you'd almost want to build a deck around this card, but I don't think there's enough support cards to do so. I mean, you have like Burgle, right? You've got Undercity Huckster, and you know, maybe if you can like Burgle or Undercity Huckster, or like against Priest, like a Thought Steal or something like that, or I don't know. I mean, there's ways, I guess, to get other cards, but those are the main ways. Like those 3 cards, basically, that are 2 cards. I don't know. There's not enough, I don't think, yet to really utilize this, but I mean, it's interesting. I like the concept. It's cool. But I don't think there's, like I said, enough supporting cards to really warrant or to really be able to build a solid deck around just that idea. Alright, so moving on, we got a Hunter card called Kindly Grandmother, which is a 2 mana 1/1 beast. It's a Hunter card, if I didn't already say that. That has Death Rattle, summon a 3/2 Big Bad Wolf. So that's pretty big, I think. I mean, that's 7 mana worth of stats for 2, or 7 stats for 2 mana over 2 cards. I don't know, that's pretty cool. I think this card could really help Hunter out a bit more in Arena for sure. And I could definitely see it in Constructed too. I think it's a cool card. Might bring the Death Rattle Hunter into existence. You know, I know it was tried, but it didn't work as well as sort of the mid-rangey. Not that, you know, the Death Rattle Hunter could be a mid-range deck, but like the standard list that's being run now, kind of. But yeah, I think it's a cool card. And then obviously here's the Big Bad Wolf, which is actually interesting. I didn't realize that the Big Bad Wolf is not a beast, which is kind of odd. I hate when they do that shit. I mean, I understand that maybe it's overstated at that point to add the beast tag to it, but logically, if the Kindly Grandmother is a beast, why would Big Bad Wolf not be? I don't know. It's just like the Possessed Villager, which is has a Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 Shadow Beast, which is neither a beast nor a demon, which you would think it would be because it's possessed somebody, right? I don't know. I just wish some logical consistency would follow with Hearthstone cards sometimes. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's too much to ask. I mean, I do understand sometimes that, like, even adding like that tag to a card can actually really like push it over the edge of being too OP, but I don't know, it just seems silly sometimes. Alright, so and then I think that was it for the class cards they announced. And then they announced 2 legendaries. The first one is called Barnes, which is, I don't know, kind of weird. And granted, I don't know shit about World of Warcraft, honestly. So, Karazhan as the lore and whatever in terms of that, I don't know anything about it. I don't really get excited about that stuff. The characters that are in these cards, I don't know anything about. They're just cards to me, so whatever. Anyway, so this is a 4 mana 3/4 minion that has Battle Cry of summon a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. I think this is a cool card myself because, first of all, I like lower cost legendaries because they're playable, and not that, you know, higher cost legendaries aren't playable, but it just seems like they have to be really the higher cost legendary minions have to be really, really good to be played. Otherwise, they don't do anything and they just sit in your collection and collect dust, right? You might bring them out for a tavern brawl once in a while, but most of the time, they don't see, you know, competitive play. But stuff like this, with the lower casting cost, typically does, because typically you get more value out of the lower casting cost per stats. There's more value in the stats of a 2-mana minion, typically, versus the stats of an 8-mana minion, if that makes any sense. Just because of how the game plays. Like, it's earlier on in the game, and obviously late in the game that doesn't apply. It's only early on in the game, like when you're playing on curve. So that, I mean, that's why I like these cheaper legendary minions that do cool things. And this is a cool thing that it does. Like, summon a copy of a random minion in your deck. Like, I don't know, you could probably build a whole deck around this card, maybe. You know, throw a Bronzebeard in it and have some fun, you know? I personally see a rogue deck with this, because rogue can do, you know, really cool things like Shadow Step and, I don't know, copying cards with that, I can't even remember the name of it, but the 5-mana 4/4 that puts a 1/1 copy of the card into your hand, a friendly minion in your hand. So yeah, I don't know, I really see a rogue deck being made with this card in mind. So I think it's cool though. We'll see how good it really is in time. And then the last card they announced was a 7-mana 4/6 called the Curator. Another legendary, a neutral legendary, that has Taunt and a battle cry of draw a beast, dragon, and murloc from your deck. So I don't know about this card. It seems kind of gimmicky, kind of goofy. I don't know, maybe there'll be decks built around it. It's interesting. I mean, you're drawing 3 cards. I mean, so basically this is 7-mana, 4/6 taunt, draw 3 minions from your deck. I mean, you're putting in your hand, you're not putting them into play, but so it's guaranteed as long as you have those 3 minion types in your deck, you're going to draw 3 cards when you play this. I mean, stat-wise, I guess it works, right? It's a bit slow. It's only a 4/6 taunt. I mean, you know, Sinjin Shieldmaster is only a 3/5 for 4 mana, so. But the card draw thing, I don't know. Maybe you build a deck around this card. I'm not too excited about it, but who knows? Maybe I'll be proved wrong. So. Anyway, so those are the initial look at the cards that have been announced thus far for One Night in Karazhan. Like I said, release date's August 11th. And yeah, should be pretty cool. Hopefully they'll be announcing some more cards before then. And I'll keep you updated as I can. And I'll definitely, I haven't listened to what anybody else has said about these cards yet, and I'll try to do that for the rest of the cards too, just to have a fresh mindset on it, like from my perspective, so you know it's my perspective if you care. But yeah, so check it out when it comes out, August 11th. Later.